picture of the alien that you saw, and I asked a couple of friends if they thought that looked like somebody I could voice, and they said yes, and which is very weird. And then I came in and I read with Tim, and I think we had to send our tapes to Jeffrey, because Jeffrey had to make sure that I was the right voice for that little purple fella, and he said yes, and then we've been working on it.
Did that with me on the drive.
Did he really?
Yeah, it's like you have to audition. I'm like, but you asked me. they ask you to do it, and then they make you audition for Jeff.
But you know what I think is funny about it? When you see, and I'm sure you kind of felt this, or maybe you didn't, I don't know, but when you first see them, your voice with the character, it does take an adjustment period, and I think that if somebody like a Jeffrey, if somebody like Jeffrey, a Katzenberg, they know quickly, like, this is going to jive, this voice and this face and this whatever. And, you know, when I first saw the first scenes, I won't say I was horrified, but I thought...
He was a little horrified.
I was a little horrified. I will say this, too, and maybe you don't agree, but I don't know. I haven't let you agree to the other part yet. The animators, like, are the greatest excuse makers for your performance in the world. Like, I deliver lines like, I don't like how that sounds at all, and then they draw, like, that is perfect. It is just perfect because of the way they did it.
Do you, I mean, when you start seeing, when you start seeing the drawings, do you start adjusting, like, you start changing what you're doing because you see the, like, little rough sketches of what they're doing and assemblies and stuff?
I feel like I did a little bit, but it wasn't so much that I adjusted what I had come in with initially, and Tim was very clear, as always very clear with the direction, but I did feel a much more sense of the scene in which I was participating in, because it's, doing the animated stuff is very much like working in a vacuum, you know? It's like, I have been lucky enough, I have had a session with Rihanna, and I have had a session, or 2 sessions with Steve Martin, and so I have gotten to work with both of them a little bit. But for the most part, as you well know, you stand there alone. And Tim is the only other acting person there, and he's okay at acting. He's very good at directing.
You're so nice to me.
You're an okay actor. You really are.
He's not being that nice.
No, he's not.
I don't know if you can.
He's an excellent director, which is what he needs.
Yeah,
That's the job. My point is, he does a really good job of painting the scenes for you, but sometimes when you see them finish, sometimes they're using like music with it suddenly, and you're like, oh, that's the scene we're doing. That song, underneath, you're like, oh, okay, I've got that rhythm now, okay.
Do you do the same thing, Tim, when you start seeing Jim's voice coming out of the character? Presumably you're working on the image first, and then Jim comes along and he breathes life into that character. So do you start changing things according to how he sounds and how he reacts?
It's pretty much dependent and driven by the voice. Even though the character's designed independently of Jim. Yes, we didn't make it private.
Thank you.
Everything Jim brings to the voice performance, everything you brought to Gabber's performance, it's what the animators listen to in the headphones. And a good animator gets 3 to 5 seconds done in a week. So they listen a lot in that headphone.
I mean, I really can't imagine. It sounds awful.
It does sound like a very strange job in animation. It sounds like being a submariner or something.
It's acting in slow motion.
Yeah. No. Do you have any more footage from the film you could show to us?
Why? Whatever made you ask?
Well, it was a spontaneous moment that appeared on one of those cars.
Well, Jim and I are very excited to offer to Comic-Con only a look at a major action adventure in the middle of the movie. So, what you're going to see, now you've seen the trailer.
This is news to me. This actually is spontaneous. You have no idea.
No, read that.
Now bored.
You've seen the trailer, so you know that the Boo, the aliens, of which Jim's character is a member, they've taken over the planet, and they've done what we would do if we moved into an apartment. They've instead of us tearing up the carpet and painting the walls, they've started to remodel Earth after their own image. So they're getting rid of human things they don't need, and there's big balls of umbrellas and statues they don't like. No, it's gonna
I haven't seen it. I'm telling you, I haven't seen this.
No, you haven't. You haven't seen it.
So our heroes, Tip and O, and by the way, Tip is voiced by Rihanna, so you're going to hear some amazing performance from her. They're being pursued by the character that Steve Martin voices, Captain Smek. And they've tiptoed into Boo Central Command at the Great Antenna, we call it the Eiffel Tower, but they've given it a new name. And our characters have successfully hidden away their car with a very, very sleepy cat, and they've tiptoed in, and they think they've solved all their problems. They think that they've successfully made Captain Smek go away, and as they're leaving the great antenna, they find that maybe their luck hasn't changed for the better after all.
Did you follow that?
They only perked up when you said sleepy cat. They were like, cat?
I think it'll make more sense when you watch it.
All right, let's take a look at it then. All right. Look, I hate to interrupt this impromptu and completely unscheduled photographic session.